Hello everybody, this is Mr. Rob and welcome back to episode number 80 of the Houston Astros franchise here on MLB The Show 20. Yes, we're up to episode number 80 as we move along here in season number 2. We have 2 games on the docket, starting off with a road matchup against the Minnesota Twins, who are sub 500, a little bit disappointing this year. So if you're excited for this one, make sure you leave a like and subscribe down below, especially if you want more franchise content. On the mound for the aforementioned Twins is Jose Barrios, who has not had a good year at all, playing very below the level that the Twins would expect from him. He'll start off the day against Jose Altuve, who is currently riding a 9-game hit streak. Full count to Altuve, and he will take a fastball, rocket it right at the shortstop who fields it, throws him out at first base for out number 1. Let's take a look at the Houston lineup for today. We just saw Jose Altuve. Next up will be George Springer, followed by Alex Bregman. Yordan Alvarez in left field, Josh Bell at first, Mark Canha is your DH, Carlos Correa, Avisail Garcia, and Garrett Stubbs round out the order. So that'll bring up George Springer, who had a 2-1 Springer, takes a fastball, puts it into right field, and it will get down for a base hit. So a little 1-out single for our starting center fielder. Bregman up next, full 3-0, actually will take the walk on the slurve, nothing being offered to him recently. Alvarez up next, and he's going to swing through a fastball for out number 2, which will bring up Josh Bell. Full count runners are going to go, and he's going to look at strike 3 on the inside fastball. So no runs for the Astros here in the top of the first. On the mound for Houston is one of their newest pickups, Joe Musgrove, who's making his 3rd or 4th start as an Astro. Got a 3.10 ERA, however, it has not been all that good for him in Houston so far since being acquired in the trade for Michael Brantley with Pittsburgh. He'll start off his day against Astudillo, leading off for the Twins with a 275 average. He grounds it to Bell, who will put it away for 3 unassisted. Let's take a look at the Twins lineup now. We just saw Astudillo in center field, followed by Jorge Polanco, Nick Gordon at second, the powerful Miguel Sano, who is struggling at first, Eddie Rosario in left, Mitch Garver behind the plate, Max Kepler in right. Donaldson will be your 3rd baseman, and DH will be Will Myers in the 9-hole. Here is Jorge Polanco, and that pitch is going to get away from him. However, it will be ball number 4, so Polanco will take his base with a walk. Next up, Nick Gordon, 2-2 to Gordon. He's going to pop up to left field. Easy play for Alvarez, and that is the 2nd out here in the bottom of the 1st. Next up is the powerful Miguel Sano, 0-2 to him, though. He can't check his swing in time, but the sinker in the dirt will be thrown out at first base, so we're scoreless 3-1. Let's go top 2 now. Mark Canha at the plate. He's going to start off with a lead-off walk, so we pick up here with the Astros. Carlos Correa up next, 3-2 to him. Gets underneath, a nice pitch to hit. Hits it deep to center where Astudillo will field the first out of the inning. Missed opportunity there for Carlos Correa. Avisail Garcia up next, 3-2 to him. And he pokes it into right field, the position he is playing today. That's going to route up against the wall. Canha will round second, go to 3rd. And now we got runners on the corners here. 1 out for Garrett Stubbs. 0-2 to him. He dribbles it back up to the pitcher. Barrios, though, can't turn 2. So a run will come around to score. So the Astros draw first blood here. Altuve up next. He gets a slurve. Pops it up to Polanco. But it is 1-0 now for the Astros. Let's go bottom 4, shall we? Jorge Polanco leading us off. And it's not 1-0 any longer. Polanco solo shot to right field over the wall off of the LED board. His 19th homer of the season. And just like that, we are tied up at 1 apiece with a 395-foot shot to right field to start off the bottom of the 4th. So that'll bring up Nick Gordon up next, the other middle infielder with a 1-0. He grounds to Bell. Nice play on the line. Quick out number 1. Miguel Sano up next, 1-1 to Sano. He lines it straight at Correa, playing the shift for out number 2. And then Rosario up next. He's first pitch swinging. He's going to poke it up the infield, and it's going to get through the shift as Altuve couldn't get to that one. And that'll be a 2-out single. Next up, Mitch Garver. He's going to get it through the right side of the infield now. So back-to-back singles with 2 outs for the Twins, trying to get a little bit more insurance here. Max Kepler up next, 2-2. He can't connect with the curveball, so it will be 1-1 after 4 innings. Next up, top 5, we're going to start off with Garrett Stubbs, who on a 2-0 pitch turns on a fastball, and it will not get down. Nice play out there in right. Jose Altuve still trying to extend that 9-game hit streak. He can't do it. He swings through the fastball for out number 2. And then Springer up next, full count to Springer. He turns, however, on a slurve. This time he gets a pitch to hit and drives it to left field. That is a solo shot for Springer, and just like that, in the next half inning, the Astros get the run back. 15th of the season for Springer. He's really turned it on in recent months. 400 feet as his average continues to climb over 300. Astros lead now 2-1. Bregman up next, full count to him. He's going to walk on the high fastball once again, getting nothing too big to hit. Alvarez up next, 0-1. He does turn on a fastball, however, he gets just underneath it. And the Astros will be up 2-1 as we're halfway through this ballgame. How about bottom of the 5? Teams going tit for tat, and Josh Donaldson does. Alvarez doesn't even move a muscle as that one is well over the left field wall. Actually bounces all the way back into play. Because Donaldson didn't know it was a homer, he's standing on first base. Now the crowd starts to cheer. Donaldson will round the bases, get his home run trot. But just like how the Astros got one in the top of the 5th, the Twins get their solo shot in the bottom of the 5th, 419 feet. 18th of the season for Josh Donaldson. And once again, we're tied up, this time at 2 apiece. And it's still no outs in the inning. How about Will Myers up next, the gloveless DH. He dribbles it up to Musgrove, who records the first out of the inning on the dribbler. Top of the order now, Williams Astudillo, and he's going to strike out on a nice curveball running away. That is out number 2. And that'll bring up Jorge Polanco, who went yard earlier in the ball game. He's going to shoot this one down the left field line completely against the shift, and he's going to have the easiest 2-bagger he probably will ever have. Doesn't go 3, but that's a 2-out double here for the Twins. They want to take their first lead of the ball game. Nick Gordon up next, 0-2 to him. He rockets it though, but it's at Correa, and that'll end here the bottom of the 5th. So tied up at 2 apiece. Going to move forward to the top of the 8th with George Springer, who's had himself a nice solid day so far. 1-1 Springer. He gets a fastball, dribbles it. This time it's Parker Bridwell on the mound, and that'll be out number 1. Bregman up next, 0-1. He's going to take it to the left field line. Fielded cleanly, though, by the third baseman and thrown out at first. Nice play by Josh Donaldson at the hot corner. Now Yordan Alvarez up next. First pitch to him. He gets a high cutter. A little late on it, but he takes it to left center, and that's gone for a home run. Opposite field power for Yordan Alvarez, his 22nd home run of the season. And we got ourselves another solo shot here at Target Field. This one goes 405 the other way. And the Astros, they're back on top by 1. It's 3-2 here as this crowd goes quiet. Josh Bell up next, 1-0 to him. He turns on a fastball, however, not the same result. This one is a fly out to center field. So the Astros, they have a 1-run lead. We're going to take it to the bottom of the 9th where Ryan Presley's going to come in looking for save number 21 of the season with a 1.14 ERA in the pen. His first batter, however, will be a walk as he walks Mitch Garver on the full count. So that tying run is on first. Kepler up next. He swings through a sweeping curve in the dirt for out number 1. Next up, Josh Donaldson. He went yard earlier, and he's not going to get the chance to do it again. Another walk. So now the tying run is 180 feet away, and the winning run is on first. Will Myers fields to Josh Bell. He can't get it cleanly, so instead of a double play, everybody is safe. That is going to be an E3, and it could prove costly. Now bases loaded, 1 out, and we're going to bring in Astudillo at the top of the lineup. They're going to go with a sacrifice squeeze, and it works to perfection. The out is recorded, but the Twins tie it up at 3, and the winning run is 90 feet away. Next up, Jorge Polanco. Let's go with the force at every base, walk him intentionally, but that's going to bring up Nick Gordon. 0 for 3 on the day. 1-2 to Gordon. He swings through the fastball, strike 3, so we're tied up at 3 after 9. Presley is excited, but I don't really understand why. He just gave up the lead. We're going to go into extras now. Top 10, 1 out. Here's a single by Springer, who continues his amazing day. And we're going to pinch run for Springer. Miles Straw comes in, our fastest bench player. Bregman up next, 2-0, turns on a fastball deep to right field, and it just misses being a home run. However, Straw on his elite speed rounds third comes home, and the Astros get another run back. It is now 4-3 thanks to the double by Bregman. Next up, Alvarez. He grounds to the first base, quick out number 2. However, the runner does move to third. That'll bring up Josh Bell, full count. He walks on a close fastball. Tyler Duffy now on the mound for Minnesota. Canna up next. He's going to walk as well. So bases loaded, 2 outs. A beautiful chance for more runs for Carlos Correa. But first, Drew Pomeranz is going to come out of the pen. The high-paying lefty, 316, is going to go up against the righty Correa, whose first pitch swinging. He gets jammed and flies out to Sano at first. So the Astros now have a 1-run lead once more. Let's try it again. Miguel Sano strikes out on the slider, out number 1. Eddie Rosario up next, 3-0. Another walk for Presley. The tying run is once again put on base. And that's actually going to do it for Presley. Too many walks. We're going to give it to Adubre Ramos with a chance to get his first save of the season. His first batter, beautiful slider, gets Garver swinging. We're now 1 out away. Max Kepler up next, 2-1, lines it to left field. Alvarez underneath it, and that will be your ball game. Astros win in 10 by a final score of 4-3. Very interesting game. However, the Astros never really were trailing. Presley does get the win. The loss will go to Duffy, and Ramos does get the save, as we had 4 runs on 9 hits, 2 errors, and they had 3 on 7. So overall, pretty solid game for the Astros. It was a lot of solos, shots, a lot of singles. No really big surprises. However, Springer did have a good game, 3 for 5 with a home run, as the Astros never trailed in this ballgame. So that'll be game 1 of this 3-game stand in Minnesota. And in game number 2, we actually lose 8-2. So a blowout loss here, as Minnesota rebounds nicely, as they had big production from Jorge Polanco as well as Donaldson and Astudillo, who's playing catcher today. So center field one day, catcher the next. It's very, very odd. Game number 3, we do lose again, 3-2. This time a little bit of late blown, as both teams only had 4 hits. However, Minnesota had 1 extra run. And this time the loss will go to Verlander, who I guess went a little too far in this game. So the second half of the episode, this is, I think, where it gets interesting, as we have a 4-game homestand against our in-division and in-state rival Texas Rangers, who sit at 50-70 on the season. However, this will be our first look at Forrest Whitley in Houston Astros uniform, our top prospect in the organization, one of the top prospects in baseball, ranked 27th out of all the top prospects in MLB. He had a very bad start at 4 2/3, gave up about 5 earned runs. So looking for a rebound here against Texas now at home. They'll start off with Peter Santos on the first pitch, makes solid contact, but Whitley able to get lucky there. As here's the Rangers lineup: Santos followed by Zobrist, Willie Calhoun, Joey Gallo in right, Ruben Odor at second, Sam Travis at first, former A Josh Fegley behind the plate. Nick Solak is your DH, and the speedy Julio Pablo Martinez is at the number 9 spot. So here's Ben Zobrist up next. He's also going to hit this one far, but it's going to fly out this time to center field. So allowed first 2 outs for Whitley. Next up, Willie Calhoun. First pitch swinging. He's going to put this one into left field, so they're going around the outfield. This time it is a single, and the Rangers have a 2-out base runner. Gallo up next. He's going to single up the middle as well, so back-to-back singles puts the Houston in a little bit of trouble here. See if Whitley can get out of this half inning. Next up, Odor 2-2. He's going to ground it to Altuve, who does record the 3rd out of the inning, so a spotless first for Whitley. On the mound for the Rangers is Corey Kluber, who hasn't had a good season as well. 4.17 ERA. You expect more from a pretty dominant starting pitcher in his second season in Texas. He'll start off against Jose Altuve, who actually lost his hit streak in that last game we saw. He didn't get a single hit. He's got a 3.16 average, however. That's 6th in the American League. It will go down, however, as he does get jammed on the sinker for out number 1. Take a looking now at the Houston Astros lineup. About the exact same, I think. Altuve, Springer, Bregman, Alvarez, Bell, Canna, Correa, Garcia, and Stubbs. So no surprises here for Houston. How about the player of the game from the first half of the episode? George Springer up next, 3-1. Well, he's going to draw the walk. Maybe Texas watched a little bit of that series. Alex Bregman up next, 2-2 to Bregman. He takes a sinker and puts it into right field. It's going to eat up Gallo in right, as that'll be a single. So now 2 runners on for Houston. Alvarez up next, 0-2. The pitch actually gets away from Fegley. That'll be counted as a wild pitch. Runners both move up 90 feet. So now we got second and third, 1 out for Alvarez. A little later in the at-bat, full count. He pops it to deep right center. Martinez will record the out. However, that'll be an easy tag for Springer. And Houston has the first run in this ballgame as well, as it's now 1-0. Josh Bell up next, first pitch swinging. He's going to put it into left field. How about 2-0 Astros, as Bregman will come around now to score. And the Astros extend their lead here in the first. Canna up next, 2-2. He grounds it to the shortstop, who's fielded. However, Zobrist cannot get him out at second. That's a tough play. They will rule it as a base hit. That's going to bring up now Correa with 2 on. 3-1 counts, opposite field on the cutter. Gallo is going back, but he has to look up and watch it fly. A 3-run shot for Carlos Correa, his 21st of the season. And in the first inning, this game has been busted wide open as Houston takes a 5-0 lead, 365 feet the other way. Houston rolling early as the fans celebrate here at Minute Maid Park. Avisail Garcia up next, 1-2. He can't swing at the very hittable curveball, so we'll get out of the first. Let's stay with Forrest Whitley now, however, in the top of the second. Sam Travis will lead us off, and he will ground out to Correa for out number 1. Next up is Josh Fegley, 0-2 to Fegley. He gets a nice pitch to hit, however, he pops it up into right field. So Whitley gets 2 outs now here in the top of the second. Next up, Nick Solak, 2-1 Solak. He hits it deep to center field this time, however, that'll be out number 3. And Whitley's got a scoreless 2. See what he does in the third, starting off with Julio Pablo Martinez. This time, though, he can't get away with the curveball hung, and this one's driven to the right center gap. Rattles up against the wall, and Martinez has a lead-off double. Remember, Martinez does have very good speed. It's now 2-1 to Santos. He's going to ground out to Bregman. Martinez will not advance, and the first out will be recorded. Next batter on the very first pitch, he's actually going to take off for third. Stubbs does a leap for whatever reason, and Martinez has an easy stolen base. It's now only 90 feet away from scoring. Zobrist, though, will line out to Bregman for 2 outs. So now you need a base hit to bring him in, and that's exactly what Willie Calhoun accomplishes into left field single, and the Rangers crack the scoreboard. It's now 5-1 Houston. Next up, Joey Gallo, 2-0 to him, and he hits it deep to left center, and it's going to carry and clear the wall. I think actually hit off of the yellow tape. Nonetheless, that is a 2-run homer for Joey Gallo, his 30th of the season. And just a second ago, it was 5-0. Now it is 5-3 as the Rangers try to make this one a ball game once more, thanks to Joey Gallo. Rougned Odor up next, 3-1. He draws the walk as well, so Whitley getting a little rattled here in the third. Next up, Sam Travis, 1-0 to him. He hits it deep to right center. However, Springer is going to run back. He's going to run back. He's going to dive at the track and make a beautiful catch. What a play by George Springer. At least saved us 1 run. Got to take another look at that one. Full extension on the warning track. Beautiful play by George Springer. Let's go bottom 3 now with the Astros. Yordan Alvarez leading us off, and he's going to hit it right into the shift, and that'll be out number 1. Next up, Josh Bell, 2-2 to Bell. Kluber with the windup, and Bell, he's going to hit this one through the left side of the infield. That'll be a 1-out single as the Astros look to get some of those runs back. Canna up next, first pitch to Canna, and he does just that. No doubt about this one. Horrible cutter that catches too much in the middle. And Mark Canna will make you pay. His 22nd home run of the season, goes 408 feet. You got to keep in mind, Canna does not play every day. So the fact he's got 22 homers, that is incredible. Beautiful play by Canna. And that'll actually do it for Kluber. They're going to yank him here in the bottom of the third. Colin Wiles will join the game. 4.03 average, or ERA, in 42 appearances. Carlos Correa up next, who had that 3-run shot in the first. He turns on the very first pitch, hits it deep to left, and almost has his second home run of the game. Hits off the top of the wall, but that's a 1-out double, as Astros maybe not done. Garcia up next, 2-1. This time he gets a high curve and puts it on the ground. You got to capitalize on this, Garcia. However, the runner does advance to third. Garrett Stubbs up next, first pitch swing out a fastball. He turns on this one. Gallo goes back. He goes back, but he has to watch this one fly too. Garrett Stubbs now with a 2-run shot. Look at the catcher showing some power. That's only his 9th homer of the season. It goes 374, and Stubbs wants to get on the action. And the Astros basically erase all of those runs that the Rangers just got back and more, as it's now 9-3 Houston, as Altuve does end the bottom half of the third. Let's go top 4 now, still with Whitley. Fegley now is going to lead us off, and he hits a bullet to left center that actually clears the wall. So Josh Fegley, a solo shot now as the ball's starting to fly here in Houston. 371 to left center, trying to get those runs back again are Texas. And Whitley just having a hard time getting used to Major League play. About Nick Solak next up. 0-2, can't catch up, 97 heater. And that's the first strikeout of Whitley today. Julio Pablo Martinez up next, had that double back in the third. He's going to pop up now for Bell, who ranges into foul territory and has out number 2 here in the top of the 4th. Peter Santos up next. Remember, he was our draft selection before going back home, and he will be thrown out for out number 3 in the top of the 4th. Top 5. I want to get a lot of Whitley today, as this is the highlight of the episode, and that's a single into left field, as Zobrist will take first base. Want to get Whitley through at least 5 innings, as Calhoun pops up into foul territory just like his friend Martinez last inning, and Bell will record that one as well. That's going to bring us to Joey Gallo, who homered earlier, and on the first pitch, he's putting this one in the gap. It's going to go up against the left center field wall. Runner goes to third. He's going to stay there, as now we have runners on second and third, 1 out. Whitley having a hard time getting through these 5. As Odor up next is going to single to right off the glove of the diving Garcia as he bats the ball down. 1 run will come around, and it's now at 9-5 Rangers here in the top of the 5th. How about Sam Travis? First pitch swinging. This one's into left field. Another base hit for Texas. Another run comes around. It's now at 9-6 as the Rangers just don't want to go away. Fegley up next, however, 1-2, grounds it to the shortstop Correa, who gets a huge double play and keeps this to only a 3-run lead. How about bottom 6 now with Bregman, who turns perfectly on a fastball. However, I guess it wasn't perfect enough as Martinez records the first out. Alvarez up next, 2-0 to him, puts it on the ground. This time will beat the shift into center, and Yordan Alvarez has a 1-out single of his own. It's going to bring up Josh Bell, 3-2 to him. He gets perfect timing this time on a 4-seamer into center field, and now runners now on first and second for Mark Canha, who had the home run earlier in this one. 2-1, turns on a slider, hits it deep to center. That will be the out. However, Alvarez will tag and go to third. And we have runners on the corners now, 2 outs for Houston. Carlos Correa up next, 3-1 to him. This is hit into right field. Another run comes around for Houston. That is run number 10 of the day. They extend their lead once more to 4, as that'll put Correa high up there on the AL RBI leaders. That'll actually also do it for Wiles, as Adonis Medina will join the ball game with runners on first and second. 5.18 ERA is not what you want on the season. Garcia up first, turns on a full count. Runners were going, and it's into the gap, which means 1 will come around. Correa will come around third as well and score. It is now 12-6 Houston as they extend their lead again thanks to a bases-clearing double by Garcia. Next up, Stubbs, 0-1 to him. He's going to get another single, and Garcia will round third and come home. Stubbs with his 3rd RBI of the day. It's now 13-6 Astros. Altuve up next, one of the few has yet to get in on the action. He pops up to center for out number 3. But it's now 13-6 Astros. No more runs were scored in this one, so we're just going to get to the end. Whitley is your winner today. It wasn't the best performance, but the Astros get him his first Major League win as they win by a score of 13-6. They take Game 1 of this 4-game series here in Houston. 13 runs on 16 hits, 1 error for the Astros, 6 runs on 10 hits for the Rangers. Devinsky actually gets the save, as when he came in the 6th inning, it was still a save opportunity, so a 12-out save for him. All around good day for the Bats here for Houston, as they show why they're still one of the best offensive teams in the league. Game 2, however, wasn't really the same fate. We actually got held to only 5 hits as Texas takes Game 2 4-3. And pretty solid pitching performance for them. We did have another home run from Canha, but it was Lance Lynn who shut us out in this one. Colors also didn't have the best day. Game 3, we do win 3-2, taking a 2-1 series lead as the runs came late. It wasn't until the 7th inning that we scored. And 3 runs on 12 hits for us. Alvarez had a solo shot in the 8th to put us ahead for good. And Musgrove pitched well in this performance. And finally, in the fourth game, we split the series as the Rangers win 4-3 in 11 this time. Apostle and Odor with a pair of RBIs for the Rangers. And our damage was done by Justice Smoke's solo shot, and Stubbs also had another RBI of his own. Armenteros did not have the best day. So I started to look at the waiver wire, and I noticed that David Price is on the waiver wire. Price, still a good pitcher, as the Dodgers' 3.79 ERA. However, we're not going to go after David Price because $31 million for the next 2 years is absurd. But I thought that was interesting that he's on the waiver wire. We also simulate our bye day, and we notice that Diaz is fully healthy, and he was doing very good before he got hurt. So we will call him back up to be our middle infield bench player. And Jack Mayfield, who's only hitting .239 this season, will be sent back down to AAA. Next up, we have a very competitive episode as we have a 3-game homestand against the Nationals and a 3-game homestand against the Yankees. So 2 of the best teams in all of baseball. We will see them next episode in what could be a playoff preview. We could get a World Series rematch from 2 years ago, and then we could see the Yankees in the ALCS. So a very big episode. It'll really test to see where we are as a team. But that's going to do it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe down below, especially if you want more franchise content. This is Mr. Rob, and I'll see you in the next one.